Hello everyone, welcome back to Tier 2 Talk. It's been a minute, Josh. We were discussing this. It has been a minute, but we are here joined, I do believe, by a completely new region here on Tier 2 Talk, if I'm not mistaken. We have
Yeah.
Crazy Gamer and Defaulter joining us. How are you guys doing?
Hello, we are doing good.
Hi
Nice
guys.
that you guys invited us.
I'm keen to hear a little bit more about Indian CS because Ryan, elephant in the room is that I went to India for the Skyesports Masters where the True Rippers got to play. So we'll talk about that as the show goes on. I think for anyone that's watching right now, they can see that you're in a boot camp. Do you want to maybe give some details to the viewers about the boot camp facilities, how often you're there, and just from that point onwards.
So you want me to go, Chris?
Yep,
Yeah, go for it.
you can continue.
So we stay in the boot camp usually for more than like half the year, like 9 months. We stay in the boot camp only because of the regional problem that we have to relocate to Bangalore because we get the lowest ping here. So we have a facility here, and most of the players stay here for more than half the year because just to scrim because from our place where we belong, it's very difficult to play in Singapore and Hong Kong server. So we have to relocate to the boot camp, and it's a very good facility with great pieces and good food management, and everything is really good out here.
Yeah, that is crazy, Ryan. I mean, in Europe, that's kind of unheard of, right? Like I
Yeah.
know the Serbian facilities, teams go for 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and then they go back home. I mean, that's something that's very different to our normal audience. One aspect you might be able to give us insight to. I mean, I know that we're just talking about CS here, but would you say in India a lot of like other esports and either other orgs just boot camp all the time, or is that just one thing with True Rippers and then nobody else does it basically?
I think in India, like most of the top orgs, they provide boot camp, and most of the teams they stayed in boot camp for a long time.
Hmm.
Like if you ask me, except for our team, Godsden also does a boot camp. They also have a boot camp in Bangalore, and I think Carnival is also doing a boot camp in Mumbai.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, Ryan, should we get into some of the roster changes for True Rippers? Because I think a lot of
Yeah.
people at home aren't going to be too familiar with you guys. I'm sure a lot of the Asian audience is. But the first one, Crazy Gamer, you got the application to come over. So where did that start from?
So it was basically Dice had to leave esports because of his study commitments. So we were forced to make a change, and at that time the Godrin guys were also in a bad state, the team. So I and Crazy had already played before, like for 3 years together before making a switch to different teams. So once we got to know that their team has some problems, so we decided to approach Crazy because he's experienced player and we wanted someone like him. So we just approached him and he was ready to go with us. And so we just had a roster change with him. And I think it took us a little bit of time. The amount of time that we were thinking that we can click took us a long time, and but once we clicked, yeah, everything was then better for us.
Hmm. Okay. Got anything to add on this one, Ryan?
No? Happy days.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the coach signed a couple of months after that. Now, YB is actually someone I know because of his involvement in Optic India. I know that's a few years ago now. But where did that kind of come from? Because that sort of just comes out of nowhere, and then 2 weeks after that, you bring in a new AWPer. So, do you want to maybe give us some timelines about what may look like of getting a new coach and a new AWPer?
Yeah, I would like to add something on that. We were playing with a coach called Rixa before adding YB to the team. So he was a good coach, but the thing with him was that our game style and his coaching style was not matching at all. So we thought of adding a new coach so that the coach who has already played CS in India and he has more experience about Indian Counter Strike scene. So we thought of adding him as a coach.
Hmm.
Oh,
Okay. And then the AWP. Now, I think it's quite obvious to the naked eye. You've got four Indians on a team, and then a Russian bloke turns up and starts AWPing. Is there not a strong enough AWPer in India? If you got to look overseas to try and bring someone in?
I
So the
think
thing was, we were playing with a guy called Ghost, okay, and he was opting for our team. But the thing was, he had some commitment to his family, towards his business or something like that. So he was not able to give time, and he was not able to join us in boot camp. And the True Rippers org has an rule that each and every player should play from boot camp. So because of that, we had to make a change. But the thing was, I think there are only two or three good oppers in India. One of which is Reven, one of which is Fired Up, and Reven and Fired Up both are playing in the same team, Godsden. So we had to bring an import for the opping role.
Hmm. Uh,
Oh, hello.
hello, but Discord just it's
Okay.
back. I think.
All right, we're
Yeah.
living.
Hello, hello.
Okay. I was wondering what happened there. Your mouth kept moving and I didn't hear anything. So
Yeah. The only thing I'll add to that one is where does the scouting start with someone like him? I mean, where do you pick him up from Face It? What? How does that process even begin to go and pick up an import AWPer?
There are
So
scouting
okay,
agencies. There are like in Asia, there are scouting agencies.
Okay.
So our manager just contacted one of the scouting agency, and he gave us two, three names. And Demek was one of the guy we looked into, and he was very good. So we decided to pick him up. So that was the process we followed.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if Ryan, if you've seen him in Europe, but this like Resolux guy, from Moldova, he's also playing in the Indian scene. So I think we're starting to get a couple of those sort of European imports, CIS or imports, not just in India, but just in Asia in general. I know the Chinese scene's done it quite a bit over the last couple of years, is try and get some international players out. One aspect I did notice prepping for you guys at Skyesports was that you played a few games. I think you played 2 or 3 games of ESEA Open before the LAN, and then I check now, and they're just all forfeit losses. So have you've just pulled out of the season?
yes, because the thing was we were doing a boot camp from last 3 months, and we thought of going on a vacation after the tournament in Mumbai, Sky Sports Championship. So because of that, during the tournament we couldn't play any of our ASA games, and after the tournament we were on a break for around 1 week. So because of that also we could not play the matches, and that's why we had to forfeit.
Right. Okay. Did you have a good vacation at least?
Yep,
Yes.
yep, we had a good vacation.
Yeah, that's all that we're here for, Ryan. If you can, Ryan, do you want to bring up the closed qualifier bracket
yeah,
for the actual main
I
LAN
was
event? Because I think we'll start there.
I was going to ask one
Um,
more thing if you don't mind.
yeah, go for it. Go for it.
How important is ESEA for you as a region, right? Because I think for us in Europe, Josh, like ESEA Open is a very big place. A lot of teams sign up. Like there's a boatload of competition. We see a lot of like big teams that sign up and they'll move all the way through to advanced. And obviously we've got ECL and things like that. For you guys, if I'm not mistaken, you've got a lot less leagues in the region, right? How important is something like ESEA to you as a team, as an org, and for sort of like events and things like that?
So EAC is very important for us because if we have to play against very good teams like Mongols or Tailu maybe, then they usually don't scrim, okay, in Asia. So if you want to play against those guys, you can just compete with them in EACA. So EACA is very important for us, but the last season also and this season also happened the same with us, that we had to do something, and because of some tournaments and all, we had to forfeit some matches, and because of that, we couldn't play the season.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
fair.
See you back in the next season, perhaps.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up now, Josh, for us. You want to start with the qualifiers, right?
Yeah, start with the qualifiers. We'll get some insight from your perspective because in my eyes, I casted the Sky Sports Grand Slam and I'd seen quite a lot from God's Reign. And for me, I was thinking, okay, there's been some close games in the past, but this is going to be God's Reign going towards yet another LAN, and then all of a sudden you upset them twice when you've lost to them a massive amount on HLTV recently. So tell me about this qualifier and maybe what was different in comparison to the last times that you met each other.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Just continue.
this time, so what happened before this event was we were just constantly going through a roster change. So before Grand Slam, Crazy came in. After that, there was a coach change. Then again, Hamid left because of his prior commitment. So then again, we have to make him play forcefully because he was not. We were not practicing with him because we were not able to get any other offer. So in this way, we lost many games against them, and it was always we choking against them. Like we were 2-0 up in the Sky Sports Master 2024, the event that happened online. We were 2-0 leading up, then we were 11-6 up, and then from there we lost the game, and then we lost 3-2 in the finals. But after we got Daymake, we had a stable roster, and after getting in the coach YB, we had a good practice before we played the Masters event, the close qualifier, And this time the problem that we faced earlier was the mentality problem, that we were getting close and just choking out from there. So one of the biggest change that we had in this qualifier was the mental expect that we can close out the games. And so the coach also worked on that thing, and more stable roster help us to get the win against Godren and the other teams that participated in the close qualifier.
Yeah, okay, we can get the match pages up one by one, Ryan. We'll start with the first one. I mean, it's a tough draw to get God's Reign in your opening game, because I think a lot of people would look at that and say, oh, you've got to ride the lower bracket. Maybe you'll rematch them at the tail end. Do you remember much about this opening game?
Mike, crazy.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, we do remember the game. Yeah, if you the game started, we were pretty confident that we'll win against those guys. And the thing was, our Inferno was a bit shaky, but we knew that they don't play good Inferno, so we thought of picking Inferno, and we knew that they're gonna pick either Anubis or Ancient, so we knew that we are comfortable on both the maps. So we were not worried about, like, we thought the series would go 2-0, but what happened was we started Anubis good. Then I think after a point, we lost 1v3 to Bhavi to a Deagle. Okay, we had a full buy and he had a Deagle and we lost that 1v3. We gave them the momentum and still we were able to close out the game. In the second map, Inferno, we had a really slow start. Okay, we didn't get a good start and that map was one-sided. Like, we didn't get to play, and after a point I feel that we were not like getting into the game, and we were just like losing on rounds after rounds after rounds. So in the third map, Ancient, before the map, we were talking just as a team, and Defaulter told, like, he's an IGL of the team, so he told the team that, guys, doesn't matter whatever happened on Inferno, but we have to close out this game because this map is really good for us and we know their game style. So play confidently and don't think about the last map or anything else. Just play the map and let's go for the win.
Okay. We'll get the result on Ancient at the end. Bring
Yep.
up exactly
Yes.
how the rounds go down. I mean, it's a good start. Was that 7-1 up? Yeah, that always helps on the City side.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. A
But
crazy
this,
gamer. Look at that. What a performance. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So it was a good start from us on the city side. We have a good city side, and in the Skyesports also we had a good city side against Mongols also. So we were pretty confident on our city side. So once we started, then there was a couple of rounds won by them, and then on the city they started good with the pistol win, and they converted the first buy round also. But in the back of our mind, we were confident that we can close it out, and our main goal was to just keep our composure, because whenever we lose it, choke against them. So we held our nerves, and we knew what to execute and how to execute our plan, and then eventually we just closed out the map
Hmm.
convincingly.
Okay. Well, that's the upper bracket. What semi-final
Yeah.
matchup? Then you got the upper bracket final, which is against Marcos
Marcos.
Gaming. Now, again, a three-mapper affair. Do you remember much of this one?
Yes.
All right, let's get into
Uh,
details of that then.
yeah, then the other, so for us, the Mirage was a bonus, because we usually don't play that much of Mirage. So we said that if we win this map, it's a bonus map for us. Even if we don't do well, it's okay, because the other two maps are in our favor. So we knew the new could be an easy for us, but they also got the 2-3 rounds just because we got disconnected due to electricity issue, or else it would have been a flawless half from us on the CT side, because they picked T on our pick. So after that, on Anubis also, we were pretty confident that we would defeat them. So winning the Mirage was just a bonus. If we did not win, we were pretty clear that we would make it a 2-1.
Hmm. Okay, yeah, pretty comfortable series overall. And then the rematch. Now, this is probably where the scorelines get a bit closer than it was the first time around, especially map 2.
Yes.
Did you feel as if you should have closed this in 2 rather than going to a third map?
Yeah, I think we should have closed it. We again just slipped. Just we thought that the recap is happening again from the previous qualifier, where we are just up and then we just lose like 4 or 5 rounds consistently, and then they made an OT. and it went to OT. Like you can see the last rounds, they just won like 6 rounds, and we could not close it out. So on OT, when we lost, I just said them that a line that I came up with: it doesn't matter how we start, it matters how we end. So it just helped them, and we were pretty confident on Nuke, because last time when we played Nuke, it was one-sided affair from there, from Godred. They just demolished us. But when we lost that qualifier, we went back to the drawing board and we wanted to make our Nuke good. And then the result should have been more comfortable for us, because we had a good city side of 10-2. But we took it more deep, but we wanted to close it out around like 13-4, 13-5. So eventually we won, but we were not that satisfied with the result, because we did not wanted the game to go 13-10 or close.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if you can scroll down, Ryan, if it shows you the head-to-heads on the previous match. I think it's only when the match is starting, isn't it?
no.
Oh, no,
you
there we
go.
are. Yeah, so like a lot of people are going to look at this. I mean, you mentioned the 2-0 start that you had in the best of five. I think a lot of people would look at the grand final and say, okay, you might have had them, you know, in the opening game, but it's going to be yet another qualification. Did that not feel like pressure that God's Reigns kind of made so many more qualifications over you at all?
I don't feel so, because we like normally usually play against these guys, and we know that each and every time we lose, we always choke against them. Like we know that both the teams are on the same level, and they are not better than us, but we always choke because of our mental. So we knew that if we keep our mental very strong, we can just close out the game.
Okay. Well, we can maybe start discussing the main event, because obviously this is a qualification to a 300k. Now, I don't know, Ryan, if you saw, but originally it was meant to be an 8-team LAN with a 200k prize pool, and then they basically put out an announcement that they'd been able to accumulate more funding due to selling the rights to other languages. And then they were able to make the LAN bigger. So they then extended basically more invitations to teams. I think Furia was meant to come, and then that was like the former participants, and then they pulled out. Yeah, so that was meant to be with like Skulls just joining in the team. They pulled out. Revenant got invited, which was MBK's team, and they had like an Indian org as well. And then, yeah, I from the outset, I don't know if you saw any of the event from home, Ryan. I'm sure you saw quite a bit on Twitter.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, obviously, in terms of the first day, I think it was, right, there was like a lot of tweets. This like CIS account was just retweeting everything that the Russian players were saying on Telegram, and
yeah,
I don't know. I think for me, of course, like players want to have a good standard of playing, I guess, Josh, in that sense. But it all in all, like to have. I know obviously Skyesports did one event previously, right? Like one LAN previously to this for European teams and stuff. But it always happens with new TOs, like where some things, you know, just don't work out and things like that. But I think, you know, as you said, that kudos to them for, you know, selling the streaming rights and rather than, you know, pocketing the change effectively, inviting 4 more teams, increasing the prize pool and things like that. It was pretty cool. And all in all, I think there was quite a few good narratives to this event, right? Because obviously this was the event where the bleed changes that we saw come in.
Yeah.
Obviously for Paravision, they brought in this new team, haven't really been performing well, wondering if, you know, LAN was going to be any different for them. For 3D Max, you know, we've known them from Double Pony days and stuff like that, where they have just been an unbelievable force. Obviously new team at Revenant. And then you've obviously got like big hitters, Aurora, Amcal, what was Bet Boom at least. And then obviously, as you say, you've got like more local invites, right? Obviously, you guys through the qualifier, Mongols, who have been playing pretty decent CS recently, and Eternal Fire as well, which is another big team that I was looking out for, because ultimately they don't get these kind of events.
Yeah, I think before the event started, there were 6 teams within the top 30 on HLTV out of 12 teams. You already know it's going to be quite stacked from the bigger names. I was really surprised about the DMS invite. I don't know what happened there. I know that Furia pulled out, and they probably need to get a last-minute invite, but that just seemed wild to me. Like these guys just are very unknown, even online in Tier 2, and then all of a sudden they get an invite here. So yeah, do you wanna maybe talk from your experience about how the start of the tournament was, maybe just your overall experience, then we can talk about the games?
Yeah, yeah, sure. So the first day, I think it was not that what teams expected. So many of the teams were unhappy with the PC and the playing tables, but the hospitality and the hotel was good. So many teams complained that there were some nails in the table and some other PC problems, the FPS problems. And I think it is justified from their side also, because everyone expects to have good PCs to practice and all. So I think at that point everyone was little upset, but once we had a discussion with them, they tried their best. They swapped all the tables. They came up with the solution that all the teams provided them with, like having only 4 dedicated rooms for playing, and getting 1 hour before the match the practice rooms where they can discuss and also talk about the game. And they also gave 1 hour for the full setup, including the workshop and any DM and all before the match for the players. Just the first day was bad, but I think the way the Sky Sports pulled up from the second day, I think it's commendable, because it's a first this big land for a new TO. So I think they did their best from the second day, and there were less problems and less delay. And I think everyone was happy after the first day, and I think they did a great job, because they will also learn from this experience to how to handle the big events, big teams. So I think it's all in all, it was a good experience for our team also, and for the new TO Sky Sports also.
Yeah, and just from a bit of context as well, Ryan, I actually wasn't at the LAN, so I was in Pune, which is basically a 4 hour drive from the actual LAN itself in one of the Skyesports studios. So they've got like a headquarters there, and where they actually have the broadcast studios. So when day one was going on, we were casting the True Rippers game against the Mongols, and we just didn't really know what was going on. It was sort of like there's issues, but because we're not there, we're only getting fed the information basically from Mumbai. So we can even dive into that first game. I mean, uh, there was obviously some issues in the game itself. I think what was it, a DC at the 11-5 round for the Mongols on the
Yes,
eco,
yes.
and then the 11-6 round, was it? It was like both teams DC'd at the same time.
It was 11-5 when both decided.
No,
Right.
like
Okay.
Yeah,
I think
11-5.
10-5, right? When both
No,
when they decided it was 10-5.
uh, 10-5 or 11, because we ended up 13-11, I guess.
No, so the thing was, till 10-5 the game was very smooth. Okay,
Okay.
PCs were good, internet was good, no lags or losses or anything. Okay, so in the 10-5 round, what happened was, they got a kill, they got the first kill, and something happened, and they all five disconnected from the server,
I
and we5 were there on the server.
n-
So
uh,
when the issue got solved, the admin told us that because we didn't disconnect from the server, the round will be given to us. So the I think the round was 11-5 then.
Yeah.
Then
Okay.
yeah, then after that I think in the very next round what happened was, so the game resumed, and the very next round uh they got a kill, we got a kill. It was a 4v4 situation, and then all the 8 players disconnected, all the 10 players disconnected from the server. And after a 2.5 hour delay, when the game resumed, the admin was like, in the logs it is showing that you guys disconnected first and Mongols disconnected like later, so they will give the round to Mongols, which was like very sad for us because we had a very good buy and they had a very bad buy. So and we didn't had any option. We had to continue.
and also after the game resumed, there was loss spikes for us. So we there were some instances where we just had like loss going from 0 to 5 to 0 to 7, and one or the two rounds that we had, like there was a one 3v4 or 3v5 situation where we just lost because the PC I had a AK, I was holding CT, and then the loss spike came, and then we just out of nowhere we just lost the round. So it was like second half was like very bad, but we should have closed it out regardless of what the issues we have faced. But the round given to them was quite unfair from the admin side.
Mm.
Yeah. I was
I
gonna
think.
say that is.
Yeah, go on, Ryan. Yeah.
You know, obviously, I guess as a less biased opinion, Josh. Obviously,
Sure.
you
Definitely go for it, mate.
worked
Yeah.
the event, and obviously you guys played it. I don't know these guys, and as you said, I think they did an applaudable job in terms of sort of recovering the event from what it was in day one. That's the first time I actually heard that proper situation, as you said it. That's just fucking terrible in plainness. Like the fact that it's even 4v4, and you know they check the logs to see who disconnected first to make up who wins a round. Like I don't know. I could understand if like you guys were like, no, we want to, you know, would like you push it to this, but I doubt either team would be like, no, check the logs, see who disconnected first. I want to know who won that round. Like you can just replay it. Like I think in terms of fairness and in terms of like equal opportunity, as you guys say, like after that and you lose the round because of some bullshit call and it's 4v4 and then they get given the round, like you guys are probably very mentally like out of it from there on. And as you say, regardless of the situation, whether you should have closed it or not, I think scenarios like that should definitely be looked into a little bit more, Josh, because I think, you know, in any European tournament, any handbook you look at, you know, damage done or not, when there's a problem with the server, if both teams agree, then you can just restart it, right? And I don't know, that's crazy to me because.
Yeah.
All
I'd say on that is probably the next tournament, right? There's gonna whether there was something in the rule book already, I don't know, because like I'm not from the adminning side, but I'd imagine that for the next tournament there needs to be proper ruling in the rule book about situations like that. So teams, if you guys say, oh well, this is bullshit, like we should have had the round replayed, the admin can say no, just look at 6.2. It says this. This is what it finally is. Again, I don't know. That like adminning is separate from the players and separate from everything else. Another thing as well, we were meant to have 5 best of ones on. So there was an A stream and a B stream. So B-Dog and Lucy were doing the B stream online at home. So basically all of Group A. So we did all the True Rippers games because rather than swapping between A and B, it was basically main stream takes Group A, B stream takes Group B, and then it's 5 best of ones each day. Now, what ended up happening on day one, obviously because of the issues, is that we finalized this game, and then that was it. None of the games got played on B stream. I think the Eternal Fire game started, but it ended up getting postponed to the next day, and then it basically kind of changed the schedule from that point onwards. I remember in that game, like I know you mentioned a few issues with the PCs and loss or whatever, but it was like you had I don't know if it was you defaulted, but you had like a walk temple towards spawn. You had like a Tech 9. It was someone, and then there was like a free kill on the red player, and you win that, and it's basically just done. Do you know what I mean? Like it's 12 rounds at a bare minimum. It's probably a game. Now, we got to see your second matchup against Bleed, and I remember it was quite a slow start. I think Bleed were up like, what, 8-1, 7-1, something like that.
8-1.
And then, so then you had a pretty good streak. Now, from my perspective, this is obviously a game on day 2. The Mongols game was on day 1. I felt from your CT side and even your T side, in both of these games, that you were like really giving the fight back to the opposition and being aggressive, being really positive, like never sitting back, constantly, even in man advantages, like just looking to try and catch them off. When I watched you in day 3, 4, and like the 3rd, 4th, and 5th basically games, I felt like your style changed quite a lot. I felt like you guys were hanging back a bit more, and that flair of being really aggressive and constantly looking for jewels wasn't there. I don't know if that was just from me. Maybe you can bring some insight to it. But the next few games weren't competitive like the first ones were.
It was for us also because the thing was when we came into this event, we thought that we have no expectations, okay? Because each and every team is better than us, so we have no expectations. We are here to get experience, and we'll just play our play style. So in the first, second game, we were just playing like whatever we felt is good for the team, and we just went with that. But when the second game went close and we lost, I think 13-10, after that we were having a discussion that, oh guys, we have a chance to qualify also. We have a chance to qualify also. And I think because before we were playing without any hesitation, we were just playing like nothing to lose. But when we thought that we have a chance, we started to play like really passive. We were scared to make plays, and I think because of that, it might have like the games were one-sided for us, like for the opponents.
I'll just add in, it was just a mental change because I think in Mongols game and Bleed game we were fearless. We were not afraid to take fights or afraid to take duels and do whatever we feel like at that moment. But after that game, we actually did not back ourselves that much with the plays or the duels that we can win. So I think that was one of the setback that the score lines were not close. And also I think after the first two maps, I think the rest of the team just before the event did not took us a strong contender or something to watch out for. But after the first two games, I think the other teams also did some homework and knew how we like to play and what our map picks and bans are. So I think yeah, they also
Yeah.
did some work because at the match against Ants or Aurora, we felt that we were countered a bit hard
Hmm.
because they knew what we were doing. So I played mid against Aurora, and they knew completely what I was doing or the other player in the mid was doing. So I think we just got countered after the second day, and we could not cope up with that.
Yeah. Okay. I think again it's a shame from the outset because I remember watching those first two games and I was actually thinking, shit, they might be able to get an upset here. Like they might actually be able to kind of get a win, and that's great for the local scene. Like it's great for the local audience to actually see a team that's what 180 or so on HLTV go up in best of ones against what Mongols that were 14th, Bleed that's like top 40, Ents that's top 30, Aurora's top 30 as well. Like we're looking at some like you had a tough group. I would say that if you maybe had DMS or maybe had
Yeah,
Revenant in your group, you probably do get one at a bare minimum. I
and
mean, just look at the comparison of the groups, Ryan. Like, I know
Yeah,
Bet Boom pulled out, but if you're Eternal Fire, 3D Max, and Amcal, that is the freest top three that you could ever ask for in Group
100%.
B.
Yeah, I don't know how
yeah,
the seeding was done for these groups, right, Josh, as well. But you do
Mm.
wonder, like Aurora, I think what 25th, 26th.
About there.
Mongols top 20. Ents I think have dropped off obviously because of the changes, but again like a very easy top 30 contenders team. Bleed top 30 contenders team. Paravision, I mean not so much top 30
60,
I'd say,
70,
but yeah, like
maybe, yeah.
still like if they were to improve, they could definitely be a top 50 team. I would argue at least. And then
Mm.
obviously for you guys, I guess as you say, a lot of these teams probably don't know who you are and don't you know kind of see it as a free matchup. And as you say, Josh, like could you imagine if you guys were moved into Group B and Group A had 5 teams, like and you play like a 3D Max or an Amcal first, where they look over you a bit and like oh whatever, it's a local invite team. You could definitely find a way into playoffs. And I think for the results that were on the first two games, I think I was very impressed when I saw this. I couldn't believe my eyes, to be honest with you, that you managed to draw so close against Mongols, who looked unbelievable, may I say, at
Well,
Compass, right,
Compass,
Josh?
yeah.
And then obviously
Yeah.
to then go into a game against Bleed, who have arguably probably two of the biggest tier 2 changes as of this year to date.
Mm.
For you to get 11 and 10 rounds respectfully, I think is, as you say, like maybe a different day and a different set of teams in your group. Like this looks very different for you guys.
Yeah, I want to just ask, like, would you say this is a positive result? Like, I know it's quite easy to look at it and say, oh, 5, we didn't win a game. But, I mean, considering that you guys are outliers in comparison to every other team, is this a big positive to still be able to come away with having competitive games?
yes. I think because we lack good practice against good teams like the Bleed and all. So I think from the practice and the map pool that we had a good outcome. As a team also, we performed more than what we expected, and it had a positive impact on us also, and it made us believe that with good practice and more exposure like this tournament, we can make an upset next time. I think a lack of practice has haunted us because we could not close out the games. We brought both the games close. Sorry. So I think yeah, with more practice, I think and more exposure like this, we can make upsets and we can become a good team in Asia also.
Hmm. Okay. Well, just to give some context,
Yeah.
Ryan. So again, it was meant to be day 1, day 2, day 3 of group stage, right? Of just 5 best of ones each group. Now, because day one had its issues, basically the matches got pushed to basically a day 4, which was meant to be the rest day in between the group stage and the playoffs. They gave it a 1 day break in between. Now, I'm in Pune, which is 4 hours away from Mumbai. So we did the last day of the groups, and I think we finished about 8:30 local time. And then we had dinner, and then we left with one of the staff members to go to Mumbai. So we got to the hotel at, I think it was 1 a.m. roughly. It was about 1 a.m. in Mumbai. We got to the hotel, literally checked in, went to sleep, and then that's when the quarterfinals start. And I think our call time was like 10 a.m. something like that the next day. So obviously I had to try and get to sleep, get up, do my prep because we hadn't seen any of the teams in Group B.
Yeah.
We've literally been casting all of Group A for 4 days in a row. Like, we're looking at the results, but I've got no idea what's happening. I mean, we're not looking at Eternal Fire and 3D Max. So that was an intriguing one. And then the playoffs was just weird, man. I mean, first off, 3D Max against Ents. Like, I know Ents have just made a couple of changes, but even that one, you're like, maybe there's an upset there, but is it realistic? I mean, probably Ents to win that series. And then Amcal just full trolled. I think it was Mirage. If you can bring that up on the match page in the quarters, they were up, I think, 10-3 on Mirage.
And they lost 2v5s, I think 2v5,
Yeah.
3v5.
Yeah, like I was like, these guys are just trolling. Like, I don't know how they're not winning rounds. There was one where there's like a 2v5 clip, and they're just like leaving the bomb site, and then instantly there's just like a last minute fucking retake in. And I just thought, like, what has happened to Amcal? Like, I know they came in with a stand-in. They had Shady, that was the AWPer from VP Prodigy, but 9-3 half, and then win pistol, and then just troll. Like, I don't know how this is not going to a third map. It's just, yeah, really weird. To be honest.
They
Yeah,
lost they lost a retake on B where they were 2v4 or 2v5 up, and after that I think their mental just went off.
yeah, just gone from that point. I don't know if you can bring the 3D Max guy. I can't remember how close that was against Ents. I mean, Ancient was close actually. I think they had quite a big lead, if memory, like, on Ancient. I don't remember. Oh, maybe not actually. No. Okay, well, I mean, even that one, like, it was a bit of a shock. And then the 3D Max versus Aurora, was like, you know, they might be able to take a map, but they shouldn't be able to take a series. And then they do it again. They actually had some really sick rounds. Maka played insanely well in the playoffs. He was just like proper firing. He was winning clutches, multi-fragging. It was the best I've seen Maka play individually in quite some time. I mean, this is a massive result for 3D Max on LAN to beat a team like Aurora. And then Mongols and Eternal Fire, you're thinking, mate, that's going to be an unreal game. Like, you're looking at teams that are basically playing at the tier 1 level. It's just a snooze fest. I don't know. Like, Eternal Fire did not show up at all. It just looked like they were just not even competing. Wakadia on one of the maps was on 1 kill and 15 deaths at one point. I don't know. It was
1 and 12
1 and
T-side
12.
does too.
It's like, what is happening? Wakadia as well. He's one of the most consistent riflers on that Eternal Fire team. So
Yeah.
something in the air of India. And then so basically it was semi-final, grand final after that. And then what is happening? How was, in my eyes, because we were talking, because there was an analyst desk and then Jay and I that were doing the casting, and we were kind of talking about, all of us, like, what do we think before the game starts of this match? And I was convinced that the Mongols were just going to cruise. I was thinking, look, 3D Max, it's their first LAN grand final for basically everyone. Like, they've only played LAN grand finals at local LANs. They're just going to get owned. And then, yeah, I don't know. Did you guys watch any of the playoffs at all? Did you watch
Yes,
the grand
yes.
final?
We thought that the Mongols and Eternal Fire would be the best game, but we woke up and we went to watch the match, and it was a disaster for Eternal Fire. And then on finals also we watched a game. I think we also thought that Mongols will win the event, but the way 3D Max played, I think Mongols also got shocked on how they just lost to them. So I think 3D Max playing really good. They really played well against Aurora, where the things were getting very close. They held their nerves and they just defeated them 13-11 on the final map. I think this gave them the confidence to win the event. And I think in finals, I thought it would be 2-1, but it was just 2-0 affair, and it was very shocking to see Mongols play.
Yeah, I don't know if you can bring it up, Ryan, but Gravity's map stats in the tournament, he basically was kind of mid for the whole tournament, and then the first map of the grand final, he just goes nuclear.
It'll be here, right?
Yeah, so it would have started with the Amcal game was first, so a couple of, because obviously they had one game less. Like, it was okay, and then as soon as he goes into the Mongol series, first map, he goes 24-10 in a LAN grand finals. What is happening for a youngster? It's just such an unreal performance to come out and just swing that hard.
Yeah. Fair play to him.
So yeah, I mean, look, they've been grinding for years, haven't they, in Tier 2? So it is nice to actually finally see them win something.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I think the bracket as a whole shocks me, right? Because I mean, if you were to basically just have a sit down and use a couple of brain cells to predict this playoff stage, Josh, I don't think you'd get any of these right, other than maybe the Mongols Amcal game, right? Like you'd think Ents beat 3D Max, you'd think Aurora beat 3D Max, you'd think Mongols would beat Eternal Fire, and then you'd think the Mongols would beat 3D Max in the grand final. So a bit of a wacky event, all in terms of the score lines, but you know, hopefully these guys stick around, because again, it's always cool to see some TOs involved and making big events like this, and yeah, fair play to them for putting on the show.
Yeah, and I'll just put on the record as well, I think the hospitality from Skyesports was excellent. I stayed obviously in the hotel the players stayed at for the last couple of days, and even our one in Pune, like they put us in really good hotels, sorted us out with shuttles, taxis to the venue every day. I know a lot of people will look at day one, right, from the outset and say, oh, you know, what a shit land, like only one game got played, there was delays, there was this, there was that, but the hospitality that they gave us and the players was, for a TO that has never done a land like this before, was actually really good. So I think they definitely have got room for improvement, and I really hope to see what their next land project is going to be like and how they can deliver, because the team at Skyesports, at least the production team, seem like they really care. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're not happy with the issues that were out there on day one. No one wants to see it from any region, right? You want a land to be successful. You want everything to be really smooth. So I'm sure they can only use this as a stepping stone to say, okay, these are some of the issues that we can work on. Let's go into our next land. Let's go into next year, wherever the next few tournaments are going to be from them, and just basically keep upping their game. And then teams are going to be very happy to keep coming to India.
Yeah, I think they will learn a lesson from this event, and they will work on the aspects that they failed to deliver this time. But I think hospitality was really good. I talked with the other players also. They were really happy with the hotel and the management with regarding the hospitality. Only the first day was a little bit of fuck up and more on social media, they made some theories out of nowhere, this and it caused damage to the, I think, to the Skyesports. But regardless, after the day two, I think everything went smoothly, and I think next event would be good from their side, and I think more teams will happily come to India next time.
Yeah. Well, that's what the region needs, because I think Mongolia is starting to do it, right? I mean, look at what they did with the Asia RMR. They did it with that Mesta Nomadic Masters, the one that Mongols and Bleed were in the final. We're starting to see lands in Mongolia. If they can do it out over there, then maybe India becomes like that second hub in Asia where we start getting these bigger LAN events. We start getting European teams. I'm hoping that we get to do a bit more content as well in the next time that there's a LAN event, because, mate, I was keen to be doing like the Indian street food. I wanted like a haircut, you know, I wanted the proper shave, and we just didn't do it. It just didn't happen. So next time, that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
we also thought of making such content, but this time it could not happen.
Yeah. Do you want to move over to the power rankings, Ryan?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Got the link up now for you guys. Basically, we're going to ask you to tier list effectively the items down below, I guess.
Yes.
Obviously, they're the teams that you got to sort first, second, third, fourth. You know, honest rankings.
In our honest ranking, we already made one where we put ourselves on first,
Yeah.
and then Godrain, then Carnival, and then Marcos.
Oh, pretty quick in that one. I've put the little Skyesports logo in there as well, Ryan, to basically say who out of these four teams is going to qualify to the next Skyesports LAN event. I know that they're still yet to kind of announce it and everything, but is it going to be you? Is it going to be God's Reign? Is it going to be someone else? Who's qualifying to the next one?
We we, we
Me.
we we are qualifying for sure. We are winning each and every Sky Sports event,
Even.
like Indian qualifiers for sure.
Okay. All right. God's Reign is 2, and then you say Carnival is 3,
Yeah,
or
Yeah, Carnival 3.
Carnival 3 and Marcos 4.
okay. Well, maybe I reckon we'll put this one on Twitter, Ryan, and,
Yeah.
and have a look to see if everyone else agrees if True Ripper should be number 1. I mean, they did win the last qualifier, to be fair to them.
Yeah.
Is there any other teams? Because like I've seen on HLTV, you've got like the Dust 2 India
Yes.
Cups as well. Is there anyone that could be a top 4, or is it kind of right now that's it? There's not really anybody else.
I think there are other teams, but they are not like really good. So they only qualify for the Dust 2 Masters if some of the teams, like some of the top 4 teams, doesn't play the tournament at all.
Okay.
So yeah, so for now there are only 4 teams which can compete against each other. Other than that, I don't think so. There are any other teams that can compete against these 4 teams.
I think the
Okay.
competition is not that high except the top 4 teams.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll watch out. I think there's still more Dust 2 India Cups. I think they've already done 10 or 11, which is quite good because I suppose it's similar, Ryan, to the ESEA Cush Cups that we get in Europe. It's basically little prize pool. Get all your local teams in there, and they seem to be what once a month, or are they even more
Yeah,
regular
once a
than
month.
that?
No, once a month.
Once a
Once a
month.
month.
Yeah. So that drives in a bit of prize pool. Also HLTV ranking, which I imagine is quite important for you guys with like RMR and stuff like that to just be able to
Yes.
get into more of these kind of tournaments. I think we'll talk about that a little bit more on the next show, especially in the European scene, Ryan, with how many teams are just grinding a shit ton of events to get the closed qualifier dates in, which are 2 months before the actual RMR. Yeah. Okay, should we do the tier 2 dream teams now?
Yeah,
Yes.
can do. So the way this works is we'll ask both of you to pick a player. So we'll start with Defaulter. You can pick your first player for your team, and then Crazy Gamer, you get to pick one for your team, and then we'll go back and forth between you. You can't pick the same person as the person I guess you're going against. So Crazy, you can't pick a player that Default was already picked, and vice versa. And we ask that you try and keep it in tier 2. So let's not go picking a Simple and a Zywoo and a Monacy and
Should we maybe do like an Asian one only? Should we do it like that? Should we only allow Asian players? Should we make it slightly different today?
Do you want it?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Okay.
We'll
Let's go.
we'll go like that then. So all right, Default, if we want to start with you, who's the first person you're going to put in your team? You can put yourself, by the way.
No,
We're
okay.
We'll-
I
we'll
already
allow-
thought Blitz will be my IGL.
Blitz will be
Blitz.
your IGL.
Can he have Mongols? I don't know. They're tier 1 for me, to be honest.
Right, hold on,
No,
let's
they
see.
are just there, not tier 1 still.
They're 11th in the world, man. They are quite. They've won 2 LAN events this year.
Uh, maybe.
Okay, how about this, Josh? Then what we'll do is if we want to do a region locked one, we'll allow one player from each of the from Mongols.
From Mongols. I'll allow that. We'll allow
So,
one player from the Mongols
Defaulter
each.
can
Yeah.
have
Okay.
Blitz. Crazy Gamer can have one other from Mongols if he wishes, and then that's it.
So he picked Blitz. I would pick Techno. I think Techno is a really good player.
Fair enough.
I'll pick Bented because in his prime he was a really good player.
I don't think he's been playing much recently. He
No,
was like
he's
on.
playing. He's playing.
Oh, he is playing because he was on NKT.
No, he
Yeah, he's
plays for
playing for a
Alter
team
Ego.
called Alter Ego.
Alter Ego.
Alter Ego. Is that the one with the waste ammo?
Yeah,
Waste of ammo
yes.
guy? Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yep,
did.
yep.
And the North Americans, that's right, the 2 American players that are
No,
playing
now-
in Asia.
No, they don't have now North America.
Oh, they got kicked already.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. They got sent right back
Yeah.
home.
See you later. Okay, who are you picking next, Crazy?
I think there's a guy called Emilia QAQ from Linvision. I think he's really good.
Emilia.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
There
okay.
he is. To be fair, Tai Lu have been ripping it up in this Chinese LAN that had Gaming
yes.
Gladiators in it over the last couple of days. They look seriously good
Yeah, they
with
were good. Yeah,
Starry
the
and G that just joins.
They won the event.
Yeah,
they won it today. Yeah.
So I will take Jae Myung.
Jam
Jam Young?
Young.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's a good rifler.
What do you think the language barrier is looking like on this team at the moment? It's
Uh,
Bentet and Jam Young. It might just be some
I
hard hitters, really.
because in Asia you cannot get a dream team who speaks Chinese. It will be different languages.
Yeah, they're getting a bit of everything.
Yes.
Okay, you. I'll pick maybe Moseyu from Tailu. How do you call
Mm.
it? You call it Moseyu?
We say Mosey, I think it is.
Mozi? Okay,
Yeah, I think
Mozi.
that's what the English speakers like to say.
Yeah, maybe.
Uh, oh, one more from I think I saw Steri play. So I think he's good for
Yeah, a
me.
bit of star. He was on. He's been on Linvision for
No, yeah,
ages.
yes.
Just
It's quite tough to pick.
yep. I think there's a guy called Zeralte. He plays for Chinggis Warrior, and I have played against him a lot in pugs and all. I think he's a young talent and he's good enough. Like if you give him proper guidance, he can be a really good player in Asia.
That's
How do you
If
spell his name?
There-
X
XE.
X
Oh,
XCROLTE.
here we
Yeah,
go.
just,
yeah that's not machine gun. I'm trying to think. Zilkenberg's team, right? The Schengen
Yes,
Yep.
Warriors. Yeah, yeah.
Chinggis Warrior.
oh, the
Last one for
final
each year.
Hmm.
Let's see. My team has an entry figure in IGL. I think an offer is missing.
Bit of X career. Bring him back.
I think execute. Yeah, he can be there.
Yeah, X career.
Right.
I remember, what was it?
he-
2019. He was
yeah,
in.
He
Yeah,
he
his
played
form
against
then.
a very good map against VP at the time. I still remember.
He's still living rent free.
Yeah. So I think yeah, it makes for the team. I think pretty good
Uh,
team.
so the last player for me would be Pokemon.
Pokemon. That's the Pakistani player, isn't it?
Yep. So
Yeah.
when I was playing for Godsend a year back, he was coaching for us, and I think I just picked him because he's a good guy. Plus, he knows my language, so if we are not performing good, I can bitch to him about the other teammates.
Well,
So yeah, that is the reason I picked him.
Gotta have a
who's
good
your
guy in the
IGL?
team.
Who is your IGL? Crazy. Who's your IGL?
Pokemon can IGL.
Okay,
a
that
smart
looked
guy.
pretty good.
I'm actually surprised when you threw out the idea of having like a region locked
Oh, man,
tier
they're straight
2
in. That's
dream
it.
team, and yeah, it was like quick. We knew exactly what we wanted, so
Yeah.
fair enough.
All right, we'll ask the audience on Twitter which one they think's better. Crazy Gamer, do you think yours is better, or Defaulter, do you think yours is better?
I think
I've-
Defaulter's team is better.
I
Honestly.
won.
Yeah, but still, we can give it a try.
Yeah.
We can just we can do a show match or something
Show
like
match.
that.
Yeah.
Yep.
You still have an
Skyesports.
advantage because Execurate is not playing CS, so
Yeah.
there's a slight advantage for you.
Yeah. I'm surprised no one picked Zine, to be honest.
Yeah, for me, I think he doesn't make it to the top 5 of mine.
Doesn't make it. Not
Doesn't
good.
make the
It's
cut.
clear cut, Ryan. That's
Yeah,
it. Got to be good
it's-
enough.
It's a savage world that we live in. Yeah.
I had the same feeling, but I didn't want to say this.
Oh, well, it's good.
Yeah.
Okay. What tournaments have you guys got coming up? Because on Wikipedia it doesn't have anything for you. Is there any local lands or anything coming up soon,
Dust-
or?
Dust 2 event is coming up, and then our main focus is for RMR that is
Hmm.
coming up for the rest of Asia. Hopefully, we are in 11th or 12th position in Valve ranking. Hopefully that we get an invite for the close qualifier, or else we have to play the open qualifier. So let's see.
What's the cutoff for the closed qualifier? How many teams get in?
We are playing rest of Asia, so it has 4 invited teams and 4 from online qualifier. So hopefully we gonna make it. Right now, where the standing is.
Right. Okay. Yeah, the Valve point's really important. I mean, updated weekly, so people can keep an eye out on for that. And then I suppose again it's similar to Europe. A lot of teams are just grinding just before the dates basically hit to try and see if they can get that invite, rather than working what could be the very last open qualifiers for this kind of circuit. So yeah, okay. Well, I don't really have too much else to add on this one, Ryan.
No, all is good. Default or Crazy, you got anything you want to say?
I just wanted to say that thanks for having us here. It was nice talking to you guys, and I think the world should know that whatever happened in the event, it's it should be just limited to the event. They should not blame a country for some fuck ups in an event. So what I was just scrolling the Twitter and I saw many of the comments that they were talking shit about the country, and I didn't feel good about that because if a event is not good enough, or only on the first day if the event is not good enough, you can't blame a whole country for that. But I think whatever they did after the first day, it was like really commendable, and I hope that they again invite the very good teams to India again, and we get more exposure and experience, and we might be, or we should be able to qualify the next time when we play against those guys.
I also add on to that. I completely agree with Crazy because we as a team were disappointed with the arrangement, but you cannot straight away blame a country out of nowhere just for an event. So I think people should keep the boundaries before making any tweets next time. I think the country is very beautiful and people are really good here. You just straight away cannot blame for one day fuck up to blame the entire country. I think next time people should remember when they tweet, they should tweet within the boundary. And we were quite upset with some of the videos that surfaced on the Twitter showing some unfamiliar sides of the city rather than showing the good side. So I think teams should also keep in their mind that they have the full freedom, but they should also see that they spread positivity instead of fully negative things about a country.
Yep.
Well said, I'd say, Ryan.
Yeah.
That is the message.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
Thank you very much, guys, for joining us. That's us done for the episode. We'll see you in the next one, I guess. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Bye
Cheers.
bye.
Thank